Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for today's video. And of course, we are going to be talking about IPL. But before we start with the video, do not forget to check out our course on Mad About Sports on cricket analytics. I'd urge you all to check it out because this is your opportunity to make a career in cricket analytics. Remember, guys, it's a lucrative career out there for you all to build. And fill out the Google form, which is there in the description, and our team will get in touch with you, and from there on we can guide you how to make a career in cricket analytics. Without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. It's about the IPL, as I mentioned. It's about what has happened over the last 1 week and what should we be looking forward in the coming week. Antariksh is with me. Antariksh, has a lot of things changed from the last week since we joined? It's not a lot of things, isn't it? It's still almost the same structure with the teams and the performance. Few hiccups here and there, that's all.
Yeah, surprised because sometimes, we see, at least at the starting, from week to week, the table looks pretty much different. The whole vibe of the tournament, the teams here and there are pretty different, but it seems to be a settled one as far as the 2.5, 3 weeks are concerned. And yeah, let's see. Some major disappointments, some familiar stories, some good comebacks slash surprises, and yeah, can't wait to see more of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's only fair that we put the points table on the screen to understand what we're talking about. Yeah, the points table is right on your screen right now. As you can see, it is Rajasthan Royals on top of the table, and KKR right behind Antariksh's favorite team is right behind, and LSG behind them with 3 wins. Then CSK have dropped down to fourth position with 2 wins, and they've lost two back-to-back games there. Then we'll be talking about the rest of the team, but we have talked about Rajasthan Royals to start off with. They just had a win against RCB, and they look like a complete killing machine at this point, isn't it, Antariksh? Primarily, I say that because they have covered almost all bases. Only issue they had was Josh Butler not firing. That guy has fired now. Sanju Samson is firing. Rian Parag is firing. The bowlers have been outstanding with Chehel, Ashwin, Nandre Bogart, and Bolt, anyways. And then only maybe the only concern they'll have is Yashasvi firing. I'm pretty sure he'll fire at some stage.
Yeah, it looks scary, the sheer number of superstars that we just talked about here, and each and every one of them, except as we just said, it's just we are just going all guns blazing. And I think what we discussed prior to the start of the tournament, me and you, was like that their finishing could be a problem, right? With the Rian Parag and all his antics off the field and stuff. But wow, man, like I think I don't remember a player in the recent past who's had these antics off the pitch and then come back and actually delivered. It's taken 4 long years for it to come, but now we are all starting to see what the whole Rajasthan fraternity saw in him. They must have seen in the nets throughout those 3 years, and they would have scratched their heads that how is it not translating into runs on the field. But now when he has come, like as they say in Hindi, there I durust hai, yeah, it's come late, but now it is coming in loads, and he seems to be like a player who's carrying Rajasthan Royals. I mean, not really carrying because there's people around who's working well as well, but he's just an added gem, and yeah, that Josh Butler knock really tops it all off, and to get that 100 with 1 run remaining, getting that six. So yeah, it looks very good for Rajasthan right now.
I agree, and I think one of the best things that happened for Rajasthan is that their team is still peaking, right? I mean, we often talk about this factor that if you peak too early in a tournament, it can come to haunt you in the latter stages of the tournament. It's not that case with Rajasthan Royals. They're still peaking. They won four in a row. If you remember last year as well, they had a start like this. They won 4-5 in a row and they went down. That's one thing they want to improve on and not make the same mistake. Obviously, they will end up losing a game or two here or there, and they will end up losing. That's the way IPL works. No team has been unbeaten in the IPL to win an IPL, and you have to lose. Otherwise, you would have that check in the playoff, which is going to be quite a bad thing. I think Delhi Daredevils in 2012 had a very dream run where they won almost 10 to 11 games and they ended up losing in the playoffs when they mattered the most. So these kind of things do keep happening in IPL. Let's come to your team. I think they are playing today. KKR, I mean, let's be honest, Antariksh, they have continued, right? 272 in the last game. That was some performance from them. How do you see them, especially today's game as well? I think we'll talk about CSK next as well because we'll just run in a preview of what to be awaited today's game, but at the same time, how they've been playing so far.
Oh, I've loved it. I've loved it as a fan, and I mean, I was just so happy. And you know what? Like Russell's Russell, we all know that Narayan, you can't put a finger on his game. He's gonna do that what he did against Delhi, I reckon, right? And sometimes he's just gonna go and get out on a zero, or get run out as if he's not interested in the sport. That's Narayan. That's Narayan, at least in the batting point of view. But the only player I was really happy, like surprisingly happy, and was Ankush Raghuvanshi, right? I mean, please don't do a Shubman Gill on him. We've got another gem on our hands who's very young, who could be the next big thing. I know it's very early, but even he doesn't have to lead the pack. He just has to stick around for 10 years for my franchise, is all I want. And he seems like someone who's confident in his abilities, who wants to bat up the order, not do those fringe roles at the beginning of his career. He wants to be there. He wants to take the mantle in his hand, and I was so happy, right? And I mean, to be honest, to see Nitish Rana and Harshit Rana still not playing in the previous game, I was like, okay, they're still to come. So yeah, it seems like a stacked middle order. I think KKR have finally, after a long time, at least got their XI right. Or if not an XI, we always had 11, which was right, but we did not have a group of 14, 15 players who could perform. And I think we've gotten that. Yes, the inclusions of Harshit Rana and Vaibhav Arora and stuff like that. Lesser known Indian players performing to the highest of their abilities is, in my opinion, always the way to win or at least do good in an IPL. Because
Yeah,
four foreigners can only drag you to a certain limit. And you can't have seven superstar Indian players. Three, four players have to be those uncapped, unknown, rising stars for you to, really go out there. We've seen it with CSK throughout the years, right? Uncapped superstars who've then gone on to become good Indian bona fide T20 ODI players, right? So I think that is some sort of strategy that KKR would have taken. And I'm really happy as a fan. And I just want to see, all the other facets firing, maybe some knock from Shreyas Iyer here and there, a bit of confidence in him, maybe a bit more in the bowling side from Narayan and stuff. And I think we're good, but a big game today.
absolutely. And that's a good point. I mean, they have covered almost all bases thus far. But as I mentioned, same thing with Rajasthan Royals. You know, as if they can keep going, that'll be great. The momentum is a factor in these kind of tournaments, and KKR has got it behind them. All what they have to do is keep pushing. I mean, obviously they will get the right results if they can keep pushing, especially towards the lateral end, because the business end is where things get very interesting, isn't it, Amtarik? Especially in IPL
Yeah.
like tournament. And I think we have to talk about Chennai because the game is Chennai KKR today. What do you make of the team? Because two back-to-back losses, Antariksh. It's not quite the Chennai way, and they both the times they failed with the bat, right? I mean, their top order failed, and they got into a bit of a rut where they couldn't really score a lot of runs. But it's just been Shivam Dubey who's been trying to strike, and some issues with strike rates as well. With Darren Mitchell not really being able to get going in this IPL, and Rahane not being able to play on wickets which are slower.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. And him actually having to play on a chip-off pitch, which seems to be like the chip-off pitch of old, right? The slow, not your bouncy, not your. I don't consider that chip-off. I remember chip-off at the times of Dwayne Bravo, right? He used to bowl his first over in the 13th over, and then he used to bowl four in a row till 20th, right? So that's the kind of chip-off we remember. And if Rahane struggles there, he's going to struggle the whole IPL, because that is what chip-off is. And he plays some great, fantastic shots on the up, on the rise when the ball is too low. Now he has to sort of get under the ball more, and he has to generate power rather than get generated power from the ball. That is where maybe he struggles a bit. And I think there's an underlying over reliance, although it's very early doors, but on Rachin Ravindran to really push the strike rate, the run rate at the beginning of the power play. And we saw, you know what, that over from Khalil. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Like that over from Khalil almost reminded me of that Shami over from the World Cup, right?
Yeah, you
I
did
mean,
mention that. Yeah,
yeah. I was really happy with that spell, but yeah, no. So that is where Rachin Ravindran sort of lost his balance, and in the next game also he couldn't really recover it. So as I said, there seems to be an underlying need to get the run rate going. The captain's not gotten really into the groove with the bat, and they'll be hoping to do so. I hope they don't do it today, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, Dhoni a bit here and there with at number eight when the game's lost. But hey, let's see. But it's Chennai Super Kings. You never really rule them out even half a percent.
I agree. I agree that point. I just want to ask you a question on Ruturaj Gaikwad here, Antariksha, because this guy has been given captaincy very early in his career. I mean, obviously, we know that he's been chosen as the captain for this team for a reason, right? Because they
Yeah.
believe he's the right person to go about it. You reckon at some stage it's affected his batting this season because it just looks like the captaincy is slightly weighing heavy on him.
Maybe you can never say no to it. You can never really say a big yes to it. It's either ways. But see, if Chennai Super Kings, the backroom staff, the experience that they've got, the pedigree that we all know that they have, I would really not be willing to doubt them. We saw Jadeja; they were not happy with it. Jadeja didn't look settled, so I think he sort of became that obvious choice to lead the franchise for some time. And we also discussed the option that he might have to be replaced, at least as the captain after the super auction or whatever the mega auction that happens in some time. So yeah, but you, as I said, you have to stay in the middle. You can never really put a finger to it. He's a fantastic batsman. It just could be down to form. So we'll have to see how that pans out because see, you can't really. It's not like Dhoni's not there and he's like the sole captain and stuff. We all know, right? Of course, Dhoni is not going to intervene and I mean, like in a big way, right? That I'm the captain and stuff, like ekdam dada ban ke nahi. But we all know, just out of sheer respect, right? Nothing goes without running through Dhoni. So I don't think there's that much of a captaincy pressure on him, a captaincy tag on him. But maybe just maybe that he wants to sort of lead from the front end, that is causing him to overcomplicate things.
I agree. I agree that, and that's not the right thing for Ruturaj Gaikwad because
Yeah,
if CSK has to do well, Ruturaj will have to do well. And if you look at CSK's success in last two IPL victories of 2021 and 23, Ruturaj has had a 550 run plus season, and that's been pivotal for them. And that's where CSK will be really hoping that he can put that burden behind him and start scoring runs. And alongside him, he has support of Shivam Dubey, he has someone like a Rahane, but it's not that easy. Let's be honest. It's not that easy like the last year for them to get going. And in the last game, they especially did not have a Patirana or Mustafizur as well. I'm not sure about their availability today as well. But just talking from a game's perspective, Antarish, how do you see this game play out from both the ends? KKR, they would like to play in Chennai, considering that Chennai wickets have been slightly on the flatter side. Because if you look, that's one thing I forgot to mention as well. Chennai has built a team not for slower wickets. Chennai has
yeah,
built very funnily a team for good flat wickets. And because they
yeah.
don't have proper spinners as well this year, except for a Jadeja, they prefer playing on wickets which are flatter, and their batters are genuine stroke makers. I think we didn't mention about this in the last live stream as well, how their batters love playing on the up, how they like to
Yeah.
play on flatter surfaces. And that game in Hyderabad where they lost just showed that even more that they want to play on flatter surfaces, and their pace bowlers are dependent on that as well, more swing. If that doesn't work in their favor, they just look like a team slightly handicapped.
Yeah, they do, and that's why I think KKR would go into the game as they want to. They'd be full of confidence, and they want to go there in their stride. If at all Chennai want to chase, they'd be more than happy to take the game on. That's what I think. And if it's about Chennai trying to bat first, I think KKR should keep faith in their bowlers. I mentioned it the previous time as well. I really want to see more of Anukul Roy. I think he's a very smooth operator, right? And he seems to sort of know the angles, know the flight trajectory, and all of that sort of tricks in the book. And I'd really like to see more of him. And apart from that, I believe Chennai is a champion team, and I think it's going to be a very, very tough outing for KKR. And I have a sneaky feeling that we might see the third victory for Chennai today. Although being a KKR
Okay,
fan, I seem to have this
interesting,
pessimistic view. But let's
interesting.
hope.
Because But I still think, if KKR can play the way they've been doing, it shouldn't be a big issue. I mean, they've been playing exceptionally well, and Russell's form is massive in this. If Russell can keep going, and alongside Rinku is yet to fire, right? Rinku and
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer are yet to fire. If Shreyas Iyer can have a game like with his reputation, I think he'll do a good job. And I still think KKR are slightly heavyweights today, 60-40, I believe. Though because it's played in Chidambaram and because it's in Chennai, that's where it could be a 50-50 game. But other than that, on form, it's a 50-50 game for me. Otherwise, I don't know, man. To be very honest, this is one of the most important games of the tournament. If you look from just the outside as to how these two teams fare up. Even for KKR, if they lose, it's going to be like a reality check. Okay, wait a minute. These are things we might have to
Yeah.
improve going ahead. And for Chennai, it's going to be a lot of questions if they lose today. So, on both behalves, I think it's just going to be a very interesting game on the cards. But yeah, let's talk about another team. It's up LSG. I mean, they've had a good season so far after that first loss. They've had a very interesting record, Antarix, of 13 games of defending 160 plus in their one. And they're like
Wow.
the master of defense at this point. 13-0 is the record, and they've not lost a single game defending 160 plus. And they've been doing it very successfully. Even last evening they did it where just Thakur picked up a very important 5 wicket haul, and they've had different players stepping up in different situations, especially young Indian bowlers. That's good to see, isn't it?
Absolutely. And as we just mentioned, right, you need those Indian gems to step up, and they have done that for LSG big time this time around, right? Beat Mayank Yadav, now Yash Thakur. Yesterday, he looked a bit off song, and with all the praise, and everyone just expects him to rally
I think he got
every.
injured, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, again, that's what I was going to come to. That sadly, I think that's the whole problem with the whole ecosystem. We can have a big long talk on that some other day, but yeah, I mean, pace bowlers, I mean, a lot has to go right for you to keep bowling at 155 for 15 years, like in a row, right? A lot has to go right. That's the reason why we've not seen one many bowlers bowl that pace. And even though many players can, they just don't continue to do so, right? But anyways, yeah, I mean, LSG look really fantastic. I mean, with all the praise, I really want to point out one thing that I'm not really liking KL Rahul's approach to batting. I don't know when he started to just why does he do that? I don't know. I mean, he's not a Pujara, right? We all know his short scoring ability is one of the I genuinely believe it's one of the best in the world. He's such a natural sort of he's just got a natural flow to his game, right? The way he swings his bat. I mean, we saw his version at RCB at Punjab where he used to lead the pack and boom,
Yeah.
just used to dismantle bowling figures. I don't know what has happened to him. Rahul Dravid घुस गया I think उसमें I don't know. I mean, I hope he's nowhere near the team. I don't really like the fact that Quinton de Kock and Nicholas Puran are sitting out in the keeping zone because the captain wants to be picked out as a keeper for the Indian national team in the coming T20 World Cup. I hope he's nowhere near the team. Please, like, with all due respect to him, he's probably becoming a better ODI player by showcasing this T20 innings,
Yeah.
right?
Agreed.
In the World Cup, man. We've got so much talent able, right? Every week we have like two, three new crop of players coming up and showing their mettle. We don't want someone who barely touches the strike rate of 110.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it's just been ridiculous from KL Rahul, the batter. And I really hope, I really wish, and I really hope that that mindset shifts in him. It's just not about him trying to go out there and play 120. And it's done that for Indian team way too often. That's the reason he got dropped out
Yeah,
of T20 team, where he used to play that first over as maiden in a T20 game too often. And that used to make it a 19-over game for us more often than not. And that's not
yeah,
really helped us. And you saw in the last T20 World Cup where we all were frustrated, right? We all got frustrated at one point. We were like, you know what? If KL Rahul can't do this, just get out of the team. And we have other
yeah,
keepers. And at this point, I think Rishabh Pant is making a very good case for himself with the comeback he has made to get that keeping position. We will come to Rishabh Pant and Delhi Capitals. But before that, I think we have to cover a couple of teams quickly. I think I want to cover GT at this point more than SRH. Though SRH have won, got 4 points, they've been inconsistent, right? They've got the Mumbai win, they've had a loss in GT. But I want to talk about GT. Why? Because yesterday they put up a lineup which was possibly as worse as a gully cricket team, which the top order included Sai Sudarshan, Shubman Gill, Kane Williamson, who's not a T20 player, Vijay Shankar, B.R. Sharath, who doesn't even make a case for himself in a Karnataka team. Then they had Darshan Nahalkande batting at number 6. Then Rahul Tewatia, Rashid Khan. I've not seen a weaker IPL lineup than that. And you cannot win games. That's just like you cannot do that in an IPL like tournament. I don't know what was the reason behind that because you have Shah Rukh Khan, you have Abhinav Manohar, you have these players on the wings, and then you went up to play a Darshan Nalkande who was a bowler at number 6. In the original lineup, Umesh Yadav was supposed to shoot in at number 7. And you have a Matthew Wade who's in the dressing room. I have no idea why did they play that lineup. It just looked like the worst IPL lineup I've seen in a very, very long time.
I don't know, man. Like, what's really switched in that GT team, right? I genuinely used to feel very sort of. I mean, jealous kind of, right? कि इनकी squad कुछ ज़्यादा ही अच्छी है, right? This shouldn't be allowed, right? they've gotten a team after 12 years. It's like a reset button for them, like a start over button for them basically, and then they can buy whoever they want and stuff. But suddenly, I don't know who's left the squad really. I mean,
It's Hardik
Hardik
Pandya.
Pandya. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
uske
about it.
alawa,
No one
I
else.
mean, I don't know, man. There you go. So Hardik Pandya haters ke liye, they've gotten a good point, right? Him leaving the team can have such a massive impact, right? And
So,
I
but
don't know, man. This is
Antrish, I just have a question here. Okay, Hardik Pandya left the team, but you also got a Shah Rukh Khan for like good amount of money, right? And you have a
exactly.
Abhinav Manohar. My point is, when you have players, it's not like you don't have players. You have players in the dressing room, but you continue to back a I'm so sorry, but Vijay Shankar is a very mediocre player in my opinion. I mean, he doesn't even deserve to start for Tamil Nadu in T20s. He's maybe a good Ranji Trophy or a 50 over player, but in the shorter format, which is the T20 format, I don't know if he can win you a game single handedly. He's going to bat in the strike at a 120. Maybe on a good day, he can maybe bat at 140, 150. That's a good day, right? He's not your match winner. And who is BR Sharath? I mean, I know you don't want to play Vridhiman Saha. Your Robin Mins was injured. But come on, man. That guy doesn't even play for Karnataka as a keeper batter. You played him at number 4. And then Sai Sudarshan, Kane Williams, and Shubman Gill all are similar batters. They all bat in top 3. You cannot win IPL games with that kind of batting lineup, which is very one dimensional.
Absolutely, and I mean, with all credit to Shubman Gill, we've seen a tendency in him too sometimes, right? That he sometimes just gets under the shell because we've seen with players of these sorts, right? He's not your unorthodox kind of a player. He's not your Riyan Parag or any other opener, like apart from Riyan, like Riyan Parag not being an opener. I don't know. Malab koi bhi, like you could take anyone, right? And he sometimes sort of comes under the shell, and then again, Kane Williamson is a player who, let's be honest, yeah, he's a great, but T20 is a different monster altogether, right? You might, right? You would sometimes prefer a Romario Shepherd, जिसका नाम 2 दिन पहले किसी ने ना सुना हो, over a Steven Smith, over a Kane Williamson, over a Joe Root. That doesn't tell us anything about the quality of players that all four of them are, but it's just about the format, right? Playing the format. It's the smartest way to play cricket. And yeah, man, Kane Williamson, career strike rate of 120, 125. The best I can see Williamson doing is a 50 ball 78, 80. But to be, and that's a good thing if you have power hitters all around that can then put up that sort of score to another level. But when you don't, when you have Shubman and then Sai Sudarshan, I don't think you're helping Sudarshan's cause by making him bat at the top of the order.
Yeah.
I think Riddhiman Saha could be given that job because let's be honest, with no disrespect, Riddhiman Saha ka wicket girna is not the biggest discomfort for GT. But if he can give you some quick fire 30 runs, that is the best thing that can happen to you. Then you can have Shubman and Kane Williamson build the innings around you, might have 80, 85, 90 at the end of 10 overs. And that is when you can then try to finish the innings with someone like a Shah Rukh Khan, as you mentioned, who has proven himself in the IPL sort of zone. And when you've bought him for decent money, why wouldn't you want to put him out? I mean, how many games have they played? They've played 5. They're 5 games old now. It's more than one third of their group stage games, right? And if you don't fix it up right now, sooner rather than later, आपको realize होगा कि it's too late now, right? They are literally below PBKS, who I think are just non-existent in this league. I just think
Yeah.
they're like the Everton of IPL, right? I mean,
Uh,
they're just, I mean, yeah, okay, they'll not get relegated, last nahi aayegi, but they'll not challenge for the top 4 and something like that. You get what I mean. And now if you're
yeah.
below PBKS after getting 2 finals and stuff, it's big alarm bells.
So you're telling me GT are like the Leicester City. At one point
Yeah,
they challenged and they just have now
maybe.
bad times after their main players leaving. I hope not. I hope not. With it, that's too good a team to be in that below
Yeah,
tier. But I think we have to talk about RCB, MI, and Delhi. I think Delhi
true.
is not even there in the list. They're way below. I think they're here. They're right there. Yes, and Delhi are there. Now you can see Delhi. Delhi, 2 games where they've considered more than 230 runs. Their
Yeah.
bowling attack, I really don't understand. Nortje has himself lost 2 games for Delhi, considering 20 plus runs, 25 plus runs in 2 overs. Yesterday he considered 20, 32. I think Rajasthan also he considered 25. So that's
Even
2 games,
against
right? Yesterday
CSK,
they,
bro. Even against CSK, right? That Dhoni over.
yeah, even there he was very bad. Or if he could have lost the game on any other day. So the
Exactly.
point is Nokia has been in terrible form and he lost them 2 games. And that was the margin of difference. 32 runs. Yesterday, DC did score 200 plus. But those 32 runs in the last over made a difference. Against Rajasthan, DC lost by 12 runs. Those 26 runs was the difference in the last over. So DC are in really big bad position at this point. I mean, we spoke about MI in length in the last 2 weeks and they got a win. That's I'm not talking in depth about them. But DC we haven't talked about them. It's just been just misery.
Yeah, I just think from top to bottom they don't look well. I know Rishabh Pant has gotten a decent start here and there, but I still don't think he's fully back to being himself. I think it's more sort of been about right him maintaining a decent strike rate and then getting that one over where he pumps 20 25 runs and pumps his strike rate. I see a similar trend in many captains, right? And I don't know why. Like I don't know. It's almost getting a bit sad that these Indian finishers, you know, I mean, like जब मैं finishers की बात करता हूँ इंडिया के लिए, only Rinku Singh comes to my mind, who I genuinely believe is a finisher of the caliber who can put any ball away. Other than that, I see Hardik Pandya, that kind of innings he played,
Yeah,
right? All of them don't want to take that pressure anymore, right?
yeah,
All of them want to
yeah.
be
I
that,
agree. I
yeah,
mean, there's a very
that
interesting thing, Antariksh.
yeah,
There'll be a superstar in IPL. For example, I'll give you. I hope Antariksh Raghuvanshi doesn't do that, but Antariksh Raghuvanshi, when he came there, right? He might. I'm just giving an hypothetical scenario. He'll play for IPL at a strike rate of 200, go to Indian team, come back, his strike rate will drop down to 140, 130.
yeah,
I don't know why does that keep happening. I can
exactly.
pinpoint multiple examples. These guys will be like firing all guns blazing in IPL, go to IPL, go to Indian team, come back, strike rate is half or it comes down at least by 40-50%.
You're absolutely right in saying that because I don't know why. Because maybe the tag of an Indian finisher post MS Dhoni, Suresh Raina, and all of those guys, right? It's been so hard that now they're saying that, oh, we want to do the actual work. I mean, no, bro, you're actually going out and taking off that responsibility of yourself. Like Hardik Pandya yesterday, 38 of 33. Like that was not his role. Genuinely saying, bro, Tilak Verma is a much better number four than you. You're never a number four. You're not even genuinely half as
Trust me, if
technically
not for the
sound.
Romario Shepherd knock, Hardik Pandya would have been the reason for MI's loss yesterday.
Absolutely, man. I mean, तू आधा भी technically gifted नहीं है जितना तिलक वर्मा है. Genuinely, like as a batsman, he's a class pure batsman, and I see this trend with Rishabh Pant, him wanting to be at number four, number five. I mean, no one wants to be a finisher anymore, is my point, right? And anyways, we've gone long on Rishabh Pant. I mean, he's still doing decent, genuinely, and he's just back. All I'm saying is that I don't think he's back to his best, and David Warner doesn't look like his best. The one shining light yesterday was of Prithvi Shaw, right? I mean, I can't help but notice that it's a bit sad every time I see him, just physically, right? Seeing him, it's a bit sad. But I want to stick to his game, and that game was pretty well sort of made yesterday. That 32 run over just took the game way too far from DC. But other than that, they really need to pump it up. Khalil looks like a good sort of spot. Other than that, it's hard to find, and I genuinely think they're gonna stick around this very place come the end of the season.
Yeah. And another thing we have talked about is RCB. I mean, it's just misery for them as well. Virat Kohli did score his 800 and whatnot, slowest 100 in IPL history. That record is there. They've been scoring with that batting lineup, they've been underperforming, right? It's just been, last year was what they call it KGF. It's Virat, Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, and Faf. It's
Yeah.
this series just been K. There's been no GF. Virat Kohli scored 44% of the runs of what RCB has scored. That's crazy. And in this tournament, they've scored what close to 700 runs, and Virat Kohli scored 316 of those. And that's just a bad stat to have if you are a team.
Yeah. I mean, you could call it the slowest IPL 100, but 72 balls make Sobara. That's like 12 overs, may 112 runs. And the thumb rule of T20 cricket goes that the number of runs you have in over 12, which in this case we take 112, you should double it. So it's just the other players failing Virat. I genuinely don't think it's about Virat anymore. It's just sad to see him like that. I mean, he's not even that young Virat, like who's just filled up. He's like that mature person who just realized, कि ठीक है यार, let me just get it done. Let
I
me just
agree.
try to make the fans happy. He genuinely can't do more, man. I mean, जैसे फुटबॉल में होता है, just get the backroom staff sacked. I genuinely believe that sack छोड़ CBI raid होनी चाहिए on them. Like, how can they not figure out a problem in 15, 10, 15 years that you can stack up all you want in the batting zone. If you don't have decent bowlers, you and tum chinna swami mein ho. Like what? Like okay, take our cricket analytics workshop if you're that dumb, right? Take it, right? Because genuinely I'm saying, right, it doesn't even take a workshop to recognize that you have to have a decent crop of bowlers to defend anything at Chinnaswamy, because you can score runs at Chinnaswamy, but you have to be a decent bowler to be able to defend it. And
I mean,
Ambati
I
Raidu
think also
actually,
Antariksh, just I can say there are like a lot of tactical blunders as well this season
yeah.
from far. Like for example, not allowing Glenn Maxwell to bowl when he has been one of the better bowlers this season for RCB, and to top it all, not playing a Lockie Ferguson who's had a very good T20 season thus far. Not playing him. One major issue. Vijay Kumar Vaishak had a very good game against KKR, if you remember. 1 for
Yeah,
22. Did not play him. Mahipal Lomra, who's been one of the bright shining lights of RCB this season, dropping him from the team without any due reason. I mean, when you make tactical blunders like this, how do you expect to win? You are digging your own grave. And then on top of that, Glenn Maxwell has scoring what 32 runs in 33 runs in 5 innings, which includes one score of 28 and rest two ducks, 1-1 and 1-2.
absolutely, and that's what I'm saying, right? And I was about to say that Ambati Raidu really pointed a big thing, that
Yeah,
when we go out and bash all the ballers here and there, another thing to really notice is that it's been the same for RCB, that all of the meat of their players, right? It's just at the top. It is just at the top, and come the 15th over or the 14th. See, if AB de Villiers, Chris Gale, Kohli, Rahul, all of these guys are till the 15th over, then the game is already in a good sort of area, right? You would be cruising at that point if you have Kohli and all of these guys still batting at over 15. But if you don't, that is when you really require some players to step up after three down, after four down. And each and every time for the past 10 years, it's some unknown Indian uncapped batsman who comes in at number four and has the responsibility of rescuing the team from like the depths of despair. You would have everything in the most non-pressure situation. You'd have the best pressure handling players in the most non-pressure situation, and then you'd have the most youngest players in the most pressurized zones. And that has been the case ever since. And that was a great point by Ambati Raidu, right? We consider the batting unit as one, but we have to chop it into a couple of pieces and then see that only the top half of the batting lineup is really
yeah,
what's the buzz about. It's when you
right.
get you have to invest in some quality, decent international all rounders. Like, I mean, who come in at number four, number five, number six? I mean, after four, after five, sorry, four down, five down. But we've never had that with we have these Pawan Negis, Mahipal Lomros of this world trying to rescue RCB every time here and then, and that's just not worked for them. I mean, we all love Kohli, and just for Kohli's love, we genuinely want to see RCB just not perform that bad, right?
Yeah.
Jeetegi nahi jeetegi, that's a different debate. Just not be at the position that they
Yeah,
are,
I
and
also
especially,
think this is my point as well. I've always had this thing that when you have an overseas captain, and if an overseas captain is not doing well, it's a burden. I think you can relate when Owen Morgan was KKR's captain.
oh
He was
wow, yeah,
very bad with the bat, right? And though his captaincy really helped him to reach final, it did come to fire back in the final when he was not performing. So that's the whole point. When you have an overseas captain who's not really doing well with the bat, and his captaincy calls are really bad, I've always backed myself to go with an Indian captain. Or this is the issue. This is the issue which comes to be addressed, right? When your overseas players not playing well, then you have very good overseas players on the bench. Then it's a very big situation. Do I drop myself, or do I just keep going because I'm the captain? And I think that's a position RCB is stuck in. And I really hope they get out of it. I think they're playing Mumbai next. And that's about from us as well for tonight. Tonight, I mean, the game is going to start in like 10 minutes from now. So thank you, Antariksh, for joining. We've been able to analyze almost all the teams for today. I mean, we've been able to talk about it, give our honest opinion on today's game as well. As we go into this week, it's all excitement. I think we'll be joining back on Friday for the next live stream. Most likely, we're going to be having two live streams from this coming week onwards. So the end of the week stream and the start of the week stream from next week. So we'll be back on Friday. Stay tuned, all of you. Thank you for subscribing and stay subscribed to our channel. Also follow our Instagram page. And also check out our course once again, Mad About Sports. Fill out the Google form on the link. We will get to you and we will help you and guide you to make a career out of yourself in cricket analytics, a lucrative career. Remember, as I mentioned, you have a lot of opportunity with all the leagues and teams across the world. You could be in with an opportunity to work with your favorite IPL franchise or your favorite sports team. So do not miss out. Have a good time, all of you. See you soon. Bye bye.